Hey, this is Christy, and you're following my weight loss journey through diets and routines, even though I have ADHD and plenty of other excuses to fail. So, still working on my bracelet method. We've been kind of going off scale because I started taking psyllium husks with water in the morning. And that's been, what it does is when you first start taking things like fiber, your body will originally bloat up a little bit. You might even feel a little constipated, but it's been about a week now, so everything's kind of settling down. And I don't know if you can tell by my videos, but I look a little less bloated in them to me. I can actually see the difference from one video to the next, and just like the puffiness and stuff like that. When I'm looking in the mirror, my body dysmorphia won't let me. I can be 20 pounds heavier, 20 pounds less. But if I see it in a picture or a video, boom, all of a sudden, right? So I've been doing pretty good. The psyllium husk has been definitely helping. I haven't really been doing my other stuff with my gelatin, so I'm probably going to make myself some Jello and stuff this morning. And I already had my protein shake, so I probably won't be worrying about any of my Pro-Yo for right now. If you need those recipes, just go ahead and put a comment in there. I'll be happy to repeat them anytime. We've got different things going on. I noticed that just everything seems to be flattened out. I think one of the things that's been really helping is just kind of making sure that my portions are controlled, making sure that I am eating correctly according to the bracelet, and that I'm not really bothering myself with some of the specific details. Like yesterday, I even went out and I got a bag of Cheetos, but I had kind of a win because I got one of those little Circle K sized bags of Cheetos, which that's actually 450 calories in a bag of Cheetos. And normally I would definitely finish that whole bag. It's like a little bag, right? You're like, that's one portion size, or they wouldn't put it in one bag, right? No, that's like 2 portion sizes at least, right? But I was hungry. I was ready to use 3 beads for this, so I'm probably not sticking to that whole 77 calorie per bead. But again, this is a fullness rating, so, we're fudging the numbers. Maybe I was craving a little bit more calories that day. I ended up eating about half of the bag, and like usual, Cheetos give me a stomach ache, and I actually noticed that little stomach ache, and I was like, you know what, save this for later, So I've got a little half a bag of Cheetos for a snack for later, and that is, believe it or not, but a small win. Another thing that actually worked, I've been following this lady, and she's kind of hilarious, she's kind of funny. She does fist-sized portion control, sort of like the princess diet. Everything is able to be given to her exactly the way that she wants it, and so she just portion controls throughout her day, and that's her thing. And she likes to argue that we should all be skinny B-words, and I like it. I sometimes, that kind of motivation kind of kicks me just right, I'm like, you know what, I do need to hear that sometimes. And she was recommending to take a digestion walk. And I was like, you know what, they do that in Europe all the time. There's all sorts of communities where that's absolutely what they do. And so I was trying a meal, and I felt like I was at a 5 amount of food, but my body was still craving a lot more food. And I was like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? You just ate a good amount of protein, you just got some fiber, you weren't starving to death, you've eaten today, all the factors are lined up, you should feel like you just got fed, and so I was like, well, it's just on a whim, because I don't feel like I ate enough, so I took a little after dinner walk, and I was about 2-3 minutes into that walk, and the food feelings, the fullness started kind of coming up. And I was like, no way. I start feeling just a little bit for it. I'm like, actually, that's a 5. By the end of the walk, that food that didn't really even feel like anything felt it did feel like something, but definitely didn't feel like I was done for the night eating. By the time I got home from my little after dinner walk, I felt full. I felt actually like I really didn't need any more food. That really filled me up. And so that just is a quick reminder, there's lots of ways to recognize that you actually did eat. And sometimes your body's not going to tell you. You think your brain's going to tell you. You're like, oh, I'm going to know when I'm full. My intuition's going to tell me. Well, has your intuition ever been good about that? If your intuition was good at telling you when you were full, you wouldn't be having this problem. We wouldn't be tracking anything. You just would be naturally handling yourself, So that's not us. That's not us. That's not who we are on the inside. But what can help is techniques and tricks. So that definitely helped, though. When I was there and I've been doing this long enough to know what a portion should do to me, and now that's just an extra little trick on seeing how it does. Well, another little update. I still have been sticking to my guns. I have not smoked weed, and even though I have my little crash out box of edibles that I have kept in the refrigerator so they can store better, I have not even broken into those. And so that's been really nice too. I've been reminding myself every time that I don't smoke or take an edible or anything that really that's trading the opportunity cost to spend money on something else. That, and when I do smoke weed, as much as I like it, it does help me relax because it makes me okay with being bored. So I think that genuinely helps fight the executive dysfunction because I actually get rest. But the problem is with becoming a potato is you tend to stay a potato, and it makes you even more of a potato. So it actually ends up defeating itself and kind of backward spiraling, and you just end up having like a less than productive life. So if that's what it's doing to you, then it's no longer helping. It's actually stressing you out, making your life worse, and making it harder for you to accomplish your tasks. That's not a medication anymore, So I've been, doing all right and everything. It partially it's just that it's been very not very stressful with work and everything. I got my kids here, and they're just wonderful. And honestly, we do have, obviously our little moments, but we've been working things out quite lovely, and I haven't needed any kind of supplementation to keep myself, to get to sleep at night and stuff. And so all that's been going really well. I did finally order those bar stick things that we're going to test out and review to see about muscle pain and stuff. But in the meantime, I've just been doing a lot of general stretches and mostly just cardio. I still haven't really weighed myself because of the psyllium husk. Because everything has just got me so puffy, I don't really want to be like discouraged. I kind of weighed myself the other day. I'm still not like gaining weight, but I'm really looking at how well I'm sticking to the diet, how well I'm sticking to the beats, how my mentality is, how hungry I'm feeling. And honestly, like how bloated I look. I feel like I actually like kind of, I feel like this actually looks pretty all right. I honestly feel like I could probably stop here. But, my goal is going to be, about 17 pounds lighter. Now, you're going to think that I'm crazy for saying that. You're like, Christy, you're going to look anorexic. That's not true. I gain weight and lose weight very evenly. I'm going to look like this, just a little bit thinner. So that's the update. I'm really excited to share that with you because I really feel like even though it looks like progress is slowing down, we're actually just kind of in an elbow phase. We're going from one way to another way. And even though one way looked like it was succeeding faster, what we're looking for is that overall effect at the end. We don't really need to dive down to the bottom of weight loss. That's actually how you trigger a lot of binge eating disorders, is by having all these purging disorders where you suddenly purge all these calories one way or another, and then your body depletes and notices, and then it just catches right back up into another binge. That's the problem that Ozempic users are having when they get pulled off of the Ozempic, and they just gain all that weight back, and that's horrifying if you're a person on a weight loss journey. So we're not looking for those kinds of methods. In fact, I highly discourage any type of use of those kinds of drugs unless you are absolutely in dire need for that kind of thing. And if obviously that's between you and your doctor. But I feel like the dangers of being on anything part-time temporarily that then are known to reversing the effect, I mean, to me, that's not really getting anything done anyway. So I would rather slow it all down, take an elbow, and go on a completely different path, if that means getting progress in the correct way so that we can actually hold on to it, so we can maintain it, and so that we can have that energetic, happy, healthy lifestyle that we're looking for. And so on that note, I hope you had a really good week. I hope you're taking care of your family and all your things, and I hope that you're taking care of yourself very, 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 very well. Sorry for the choppy video. Cheers, guys.